Hi, how are you guys doing today, tonight, I don't know, in the afternoon, whatever time it is where you are? Welcome to another day of KBBU's. Where are they now? Oh my goodness, we are super excited for today. We are getting ready to talk about one of our amazing alumni students that came through the KBBU courses a few years ago, actually about 3 years ago. And we're looking at where he was before KBBU. We're looking at where he is now and what his future is going to look like. So let's go ahead and give a round of applause today for Mr. Aubrey Wise. Hey! Welcome, 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 welcome. How are you doing today, Aubrey?
Good, good. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. No problem at all. Listen, if you are watching us for the first time, my name is Michelle Green, and I am the Kingdom Builders Business University head coach. I am the one that helps these entrepreneurs to go from 5 figures to 6 figures to 7 figures and 8 figures. I am the one that is always coming on excited and just loving what I do because, listen, if you are an entrepreneur, you shouldn't be out there trying to do business by yourself. You need a business coach. You need a mentor. You need
Hmm.
somebody that's going to help you along the lines, right, Aubrey? And so, what
Exactly.
we're doing today, yes, and what we're doing today is we are talking about where Aubrey came from before KBBU at all, into after he joined KBBU, and we are talking about his journey in his life now and in the future. So let's get into it. Hey, yes, yes, yes. So Aubrey, let's see. Was that 2022 when you first started KBBU? I think that was
I'm
something
good with
around.
numbers and everything, but years and stuff, I'm a hustler, so I don't keep track of time. I just get it done. But that sound about right, though. That sound about right.
Oh, okay, all
Yeah,
right,
something
cool
like
beans, cool beans.
that.
Awesome, awesome. So, what I want to say is that you guys, what we have at KBBU is three options. You can come in and do private strategy sessions. You can come and do a group session with other entrepreneurs from all over the world, or you can further your education into the VIP Masters class, which is where Aubrey is right now. And you have the ability to continue that education as an entrepreneur because what we do is we look for the underdog, the one that's out there that's trying to figure things out. They know that they got something special as far as a business idea. They're running with it. They're making some money, or maybe they ain't making no money at all. Okay. And then they turn that business into something that they want it to grow. And that's what we are here for. So we're talking about Aubrey's original stage before KBBU. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Aubrey, and what it is that you were doing before you even knew anything about KBBU. Let's talk about your life before then.
All right, so we'll just to sum it up. Like I said, Michelle know everything, but just to sum it up, I started really hustling at a young age. Like I was probably 14, 15, doing some little work here with um some people that did like subcontracting work. So my hustle and work ethic really came at an early age.
Okay.
So 14, 15, kind of doing some stuff in the summer. 16, my mom was like, look, you need to get you a job and get you a car. You play some sports. And yeah, so, at the time I felt like I wanted a car. Sometimes I wish I probably would have played some sports, could have made it big, who knows? But, fast forward, I worked at Food Lion for a few years. Um, Ended up having a degree to go to school. Not that I felt like I was dumb, but I wasn't actually trying to get an academic scholarship, if that makes sense, but had a
Right.
scholarship. So I took
Yes.
construction, and went school, got there, ended up getting a job at a wood plant. Ended up leaving there after a couple of years, ended up back at Food Lion. From Food Lion, I ended up going to become a sales rep at Pepsi. Started there in the end of 2016. Currently still there, but as some of you may know, a lot of people don't know, I'm looking to cut ties with that here shortly in a few weeks. So but yeah, I just been grinding. Just then I, of course, met Michelle, good family friend of my mom's. And really since let's see, 2017, I kind of been right here up under that, up under her wing, so to speak. And she just been guiding me through some tough times. But I never give up. I just, hey, when I get in the trenches, I always call Michelle, and she always get me back on the track. And here we are yet with another business that will just starting. So if you know Michelle, she gonna pull them skills out of you, and she ain't gonna let you let them ride. So, but
I
yeah, so here
appreciate
we are.
that. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you,
Mhm.
Aubrey. So I want to talk a little bit about, you said that you were a hustler from the beginning, like at an early teenage age,
Yeah,
is what
yeah.
you're saying? Okay,
Mhm.
so what cultivated that whole entrepreneurship idea? Because what we want the audience to understand is that being an entrepreneur doesn't just start as an adult. It starts as a kid, okay? So
Yeah, yeah.
what kind of experiences did you have around that creativity of you doing your hustle back in the day?
I'll be honest, I really don't know, cause like for instance, like what teenage kid, in high school, working two jobs, I'll probably
You worked
say,
two jobs? Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. You said
yeah,
you worked two jobs?
I did. I was so when I was working at Food Lion at 16, I started working at a flooring company, which I told you I do a lot of stuff. I forgot about it. So I actually was working at a flooring company during the summer when we were in school. So I would work there in the
Yeah.
mornings, and then I literally would leave. I think we would get there like 8 o'clock in the morning, work until about 5. I would go to Food Line at 6, throw a truck till a lot of times 11, 12 o'clock at night, get back up. And during weekdays, of course, I couldn't work the flooring company job because I had to go to school. But even then, get
Yeah.
out of school, go straight to Food Lion, and get up, go to school. And then on the days that I could work both, like Saturdays and stuff, I would go to the flooring company and go to Food Line. Honestly, I think a lot of it probably came just from not wanting to see my mom's, struggle. So I'm like, I just decided I want to help my mom's out. So I think that's
Oh.
where, thinking about how can we make some money here, how can we make some money there. So, when you're trying to make it happen, I'm like, that's when I started really realizing just how much stuff I I will know how to do now, but that's why I got a lot of my creativity, and so yeah, my brain just worked kind of crazy, just based on how can I get money here. So you just start thinking, what can you do? What can you do? Or what do I know how to do? Or what
Yes.
can I learn how to do? So I can keep y'all here all day. I know how to do too much stuff.
But I like this. I like
Yeah.
this because what we need to understand as entrepreneurs, or if we're thinking about going into business for ourselves, we really need to start to think about like what are the things that we did as a kid that we love. I mean, you were
Mhm.
talking about you worked two jobs as a teenager, basically,
Mhm.
and I mean that's just not common. That is just
No.
not common,
Everybody
especially
else
in
doing them.
today's society. Like, come on
Yeah,
now.
yeah. Everybody else going to party. I kid you not, I'm 33. I've never been inside of a club. Like
Oh my
yeah, I don't even know what
God.
it is. Yeah,
You
like
don't know
all that
what
stuff that you do in your
24
teenage, all those teenage years stuff. I don't know. My mindset just was always, you know, I got time for that stuff later, but it just never really appealed to me. I just my brain, I was always stuck in front of a computer screen. I mean, I don't
Oh
really watch
wow.
TV. Like I didn't even really watch TV as a kid. I was outside doing certain stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have my moments where I might sit down every now and then, but just never really had the desire to. Like I never, how kids when you're growing up, you do the little paper in kindergarten. They're like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I think I want to be a firefighter.
Yes.
Yeah, that one's gonna work because
Okay.
I get hot like that. So I'm like, yeah, so as a kid, you talk about how you want to do all this stuff. But honestly, the older I got, I never had uh this is what I want to do for a career. The only reason I got a degree in construction was because I was used to working with wood. I would go outside and find little piles of scrap wood and just make stuff. And then I took that in high school. And then when I found out I had a scholarship, I'm like, well, I ain't got no career, so let me just go to a tech school and get some kind of degree under my belt. And I mean, even after that, I was just like, I just never really had a knack for going to going somewhere and starting a career, which a lot of people shun on 9 to 5s. And I'm like, hey, look, I'm 9 to 5, if it's paying the bills and putting food in your
That's
stomach.
right.
I mean, it is what it is
Come
because
on
the
now.
entrepreneur, the entrepreneur lifestyle of how you eat some ramen for a lot of weeks. So,
That is
it's a little
so
stressful,
true.
but
That is
it's a
so
blessing
true.
and a curse. It really is
Yes,
because
it
like
is.
I don't sleep. I have so many ideas and I try to block them out. But you got more ideas than you have money a lot of the times.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
yeah,
Let me just interject here for a second. So you're on a roll. I'm loving it. I love it. But I do want the audience to understand that we're talking about the entrepreneurs that have come through the KBBU courses, but this is Aubrey's life before KBBU. And I want you guys to really look at, do you have a kid that possibly just isn't like the rest of the kids? Do you have that kid that is, kind of like maybe they're not necessarily into books, but they're into creativity. They're into things that are just not the rest of what every other kid is doing. You need to focus on your kid because your kid may be the next entrepreneur of the family. They may be
Mhm.
the one that is, you heard how Aubrey was talking about how he didn't watch TV, how he wasn't into the things like going outside and acting crazy, and he ain't never been to a club. Come on now. How many people out there ain't never been to a club, y'all? But let me tell you something. Every time I did go to the club, I was very uncomfortable. It never was something that I wanted to be around, but that's just me. But that's also something that you want to look for. The key pinpoints and things that children may be doing or teenagers might be doing that's different from the rest of the crowd. Because whenever you look at someone that's chosen, when you look at somebody that's an entrepreneur, you're looking at somebody that is unique. They are peculiar, they're different, they're just not like the rest. So listen, you might have an entrepreneur on your hands. You better check your children, okay? You better check them out. Hey, I love it. I love it. So you went on into adulthood, coming out of your teens, and you were working already 2 jobs. I mean, it's like that's like amazing to me. Hey, Dr. Tina. Hey, CTR Media. That's who we're powered by. That's right. Kingdom Builders Business University is powered by CTR Media. Hey, hey. Okay, so what we are saying is that, as entrepreneurs, we got to really think about what were the things that really sparked us when we were growing up. What are the things that we were really interested in? Like, for example, for me, I was interested in money at an early age. I was doing budgets and everything. I was writing down numbers. I was looking at how much things cost. I was always interested in making people finances better. And that was something that was cultivated at a very early age. I'm talking about like 12 and under, like 9 years old. I can remember writing out a whole budget sheet for a planned trip to Six Flags. Okay. So that's the kind of thing that we got to think about when we are talking about our lives, and especially our lives before KBBU, and looking at what kind of things happen after KBBU. So you grew on up,
Mhm.
got
Mhm.
married, right? Had a kid,
Mhm.
working at Pepsi. How many years you been at Pepsi?
9 years, a little over 9 years.
Woo! So you've been in the workforce, and like you were saying, we don't want to rain on anybody's parade that's working a job. We want to understand that however you receive the income is really important for us to understand that whether we're an entrepreneur or not, we got to focus on how we're going to continuously and consistently make money. Am I right, Aubrey?
Exactly.
Okay, okay.
Exactly.
Because it's all about how you continuously, as they say, feed the pig. We're gonna feed our bank accounts. That's how we're gonna do it. And however it needs to be done is how it's gonna work. So what you're saying is that you were already a person with good work ethics. You were a person
Yeah.
who was doing the thing. You got a lot of different things. Now I didn't know that you had a degree in construction. I didn't even know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I
Hello.
tell
So
you,
you didn't.
I do so much stuff. I probably forgot more stuff that yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I do have a degree. I the same thing. We graduated high school. Kids are like, man, you about to go right back to school, man. You've been going to school for all day life, you might want to enjoy yourself. And I'm like, I mean, yeah. And honestly, I I think so. From the time we graduated, whatever, like, because you have to take the I forget what it is, like the pre courses or whatever when you go to school.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think
I
it's
didn't even,
SAT and
and
all
even
that.
then, yeah, I didn't even take the summer off. I literally graduated, went straight to school, like whenever the first
Oh,
availability. Yeah, because I had some cousins that were like, I think I had one cousin in particular that told me like, look, you got a scholarship, don't do like I did. I said I was going to take a break, and then a break became a longer break and a longer break. So,
right, right,
but again, I was like, I could go out here and just chill for a little bit, but I was just, I don't know. I said I'm different. I just like, nah, I just go to school, and people said I was crazy, but I'm like, I just went straight to school, and 2 years later, I mean, like I said, I went to tech school, but I didn't want to let the degree go to waste. And I said, let me at least get some kind of skill on paper. So if something happens and a door opens up, within the 9 to 5, cool. But to be honest, still didn't really care about that paper. I was just like, okay, I got it, but that's not necessarily still like I still didn't have the desire to go be like a general contractor or something. Like I know I could.
right.
I had the skills, but it was still like if I did do it, it would have to be for myself. But at the
Gotcha.
time, I still just I didn't get a lot of stuff. I don't try a lot of stuff. I don't fail at a lot of stuff, but I just keep trying stuff. So that's the key takeaway that I would give anybody. If something don't work, try something else. Like I mean, I got if I told y'all how much stuff I feel, it's stuff I feel that you don't even know about, Michelle. Like, and I tell you everything. Y'all done tried a lot of
I
stuff in my
believe
days,
it.
and I'm just like, but I learned because I failed so much, I can quickly catch when something's not gonna work. I'm like, nah. So I just because it's a distraction. Because sometimes we force stuff too. So once I feel like I'm forcing it, I'm like, nah. I check that off the list, and then I go down my other little scroll of ideas, and then I might check that
Right,
one off and add like five more. It's just ideas are ideas. They're free. you know.
right,
So
right.
yeah.
Okay, so I see that you're giving out these key points, these principles, like making sure that you're going to keep going. So as
Mhm.
entrepreneurs, we need to understand that we got to keep going. We cannot stop regardless of our circumstances and situations. If we have a new idea, we need to begin to implement that idea or at least try it out and see if it works because
Oh yeah, gotta
sometimes you
try.
never know. It might be that $1 million idea. You never
Mhm.
know. So you
Mhm.
got to be able to put forth the effort and see if it's working. And if it doesn't work, sometimes you might want to push through, and other times you might want to just go ahead and try something else, right?
Mhm. Yep. Yep. Yep.
Okay. All right. So since you can, let's go to speed it up a little bit to from the time that you've been at Pepsi. Let's go back to 2022. Let's go around that time period right before you came to KBBU. Tell me about your entrepreneurship life. Like, when did you really get into being a business owner? What year was that? Oh, you say you're not
Um.
good with years. My bad.
Oh no, I do remember this because I mean because everybody remember COVID. I mean you don't forget that.
True, true, true,
So
true.
and you may know this. I think you do. So we were wholesaling houses. Me and my buddy Mike. We had just
Yeah.
so that was another thing. Again I forget about that. So yeah. Dabbled in real estate a little bit, kind of early on. Shout out to my boy Ben Lavro. Here in Lake State Columbia area. He um he took us under our wing. We did. We reached out to a few people, and I mean, you're the new kid on the block, trying to reach out to people that's been, seasoned in this for a long time. But I mean, they also looking kind of
Absolutely.
like, what, young person. Like it's almost like they brushed you off, but I didn't take offense to it. It's just like I get it. Y'all don't know me. Who this young guy talking about he want to get in real estate? Which again, I understand it. At the same time, it's kind of like really, but it is what it is. But so we dabbled in real estate, wholesaling houses. We did a few deals. We didn't do anything, life changing, but we had a few that would have been life changing. But you know, that didn't work out. The whole so just a little quick backstory on that. Once again, learning how to do stuff on my own. I found out how to run Facebook ads. So what happened
Oh,
was, yes, I taught myself Facebook ads, spent a lot of money. I recommend if you don't know how to
wow.
run ads, find you someone to teach you how to run ads because I spend a lot of money. Me and a buddy of mine had a clothing line. Haven't done much with it recently, but we do have some kind of little plans to start that back up too.
Okay.
At some
Hold on,
point.
hold on, hold on, hold on. Let me just give the audience just for a second a recap in case they just tuned in. So we're talking about Aubrey and where he was before KBBU and where he is now. So we are speeding it up to the 2020 year. So he was into real estate, commercial real estate, right? Or residential,
Well,
or both.
residential. We were trying. I mean, we was. We was gaining some traction pretty quick, but still, it didn't
All
quite
right.
work out. So
So you had residential real estate, and then you also had a buddy of yours that you connected with, and y'all came up with this plan to go into a clothing business.
yeah, yeah. So that right there. So that's and the clothing line taught me a lot. So that's why I kind of taught myself Facebook ads. I mean, don't get me wrong. I did buy some courses, but some of these courses that people put out is just a cash grab. I
Yeah,
mean, you know how it is. So it's like they tell you stuff, but it's like they gatekeep. So you know what? I'm like, and I spent hundreds of dollars on courses, and then you start realizing you're like, dude, you can watch stuff all day, and that's another thing. Don't spend a lot of money on the same stuff. You just got to do it because
gotta go
if you don't
do it.
do it, you just got to do it. So I lost more money at first because I spent the money on these courses, not really telling you much, and then I'm spending money on ads following these courses, and then I spent
Right.
money on ads figuring it out on my own. I mean, you just got to be willing to take that risk. I mean, but in the end, to sum it up, we did try some real estate. I mean, I think we did about somewhere around 10 deals. Again, nothing life changing, but it was the experience. And then so right before COVID hit, we had about 6 deals lined up. We literally had a lady blow herself up after we worked on this title for 6 months.
Oh
She
my
was smoking,
goodness.
yeah, she was smoking on oxygen. So we're not laughing about it like God rest her soul, that was sad.
Wait.
It's just like it's like we literally had deals blow up in our faces, literally.
Oh my
So
God.
after spending some change trying to get some Facebook ads going and just keeping that going because they were doing good. And I actually had other investors start reaching out to me, almost like wanting to bring me onto the team because they saw the leads I started generating. So some more opportunity and some stuff like that. And so of course, Facebook went through this thing with privacy, with people
Yeah.
targeting, people from housing.
Yeah.
So that right there was like that was our bread and butter. And I learned then, don't put all your eggs in one basket. But it was
Hello.
too late.
Hello. That's right.
So
Hello,
I
Jacob
lost.
Anderson out there. Hello, Jacob
Uh,
Anderson. I just want to give a shout out to our watchers. Thank you for watching, Mr. Anderson. Thank you so much. All right, go ahead. So,
yeah.
so you're saying like you went through some failed attempts. So
Oh,
COVID was
I
kind of
failed a lot.
failed.
And
You
so
failed
yeah,
a lot.
to sum it up, yeah, COVID just so that was like the icing because it was like whose house you gonna
Cut it
go in, like oh, and then right before COVID, like I said, Facebook went through the whole privacy thing, so we
out.
still were trying to figure it out, still throwing money in, so COVID hit, so we're like, okay, all right, this is what the world's like nowadays. Again, y'all remember how that was. So you
Yeah.
remember the first wave, it wasn't necessarily that bad, but then that second wave
Right.
is when they shut everything down.
Ooh, yes, that's right.
So being as though
March
I'm a sales
2020.
rep at Pepsi, I'm an essential employee now. So um, I'm like, okay, this is cool. Our job, they were, kicking out extra money because we were considered essential employees. So, we're getting X amount of dollars over what we usually would. It's like, okay, cool, I'm out here, but hey, we're getting a little blessing for it, So that didn't last long. In terms of the essential pay. I mean, it was good while it lasted, but of course, all some good things come to an end. So, we went through a phase where a lot of people were losing jobs, or people just weren't showing
Mhm.
up to work. So, kind of fast forward a little bit. I think this was this 2020 well 2021 is when I was like, okay, I got to figure something out because at any moment
Right.
I'm not necessarily safe. Like yeah, my job is technically recession proof, but I'm still not safe at this workplace because
Exactly.
in any minute they could be like, we don't need y'all anymore. I mean, it is what it is. The type of
Oh
job that I have,
man.
yeah, they don't necessarily need me to go in a store and write orders. They can do that with a computer. Like everything these days is
Right.
automated. So just from 20 to 20 into 2020 and like all of 2021, I was like, yeah, I gotta figure something out. So that's when I was like, Michelle, I'm thinking about doing this movie business, which is another little story that led up to that. Just to sum it up, I don't know if you guys have heard about it. I'm not saying go and use this app, but it's called Thumbtack Pro. It's basically like a
Yeah.
marketplace for, I'm gonna just say
I
hustlers,
use
like any.
I use Thumbtack. I do. I
Oh yeah,
do.
yeah. So Thumbtack. So that's how we got started. So my buddy's son has a junk removal business, and he was using it, and he was like, "Well, hey man," and this is when I kind of had the epiphany because again, I got a lot of ideas, and I'm like, man, I had to move a lot in my life, and I don't know where the idea came from. Again, I just got a lot. I'm just going down the list. So I was thinking about doing a moving business, and my buddy's son was like, "Hey, a lady reached out to me. She needed a piece of furniture picked up from like I think what was it? Wherever it was, like 2 hours from here. I think it was like
Oh,
going up to it was like Fort Mill or no, some it was almost a couple hours away. I forget where it was. And this was like 3 years
okay.
ago. But anyway, I was just like, yeah, I'll go pick it up, and I didn't really know what the price was gonna be because again, at this point, I don't care. I'm just trying to get something going. I said I got a pickup truck. I can make some money. I just got to figure
Right.
out where people hang out at that need someone with a pickup truck.
Oh,
So he asked me could I go up there and get it because he didn't have a truck at the time, and he's like, look, whatever she pay you, just keep it because we can't do it and we're not going to do it.
what?
So it was I forget what it was. It was like a cabinet. It was something. Whatever it was, it fit in the bed in my truck. Funny story. My wife was pregnant at the time. I don't have I have friends, but I don't have friends that's just sitting around like come help me. So my pregnant wife, we drive up to this lady's house, and they're like, it's heavy.
Oh,
And so I back up around the side of the house, and I'm like, I got it far as we could because their drive or their backyard was like real muddy from the rain. So wheeling this thing around, and my wife's like, "How you gonna get this in the back of the truck?" And I'm like, "I don't know, but I might need you to help me." And she's pregnant,
right.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I tried to do the bulk of it. She helped me get it in the truck. We get back to Columbia, and I think we had to go downtown somewhere to deliver it. It was down in the Vista, somewhere in that little. Again, I don't know about the area. I don't club, so whatever that little town called out there. 5 Points. That's what it is. 5 Points. It was somewhere
Okay.
down in there.
Okay.
And the lady ended up giving me like four. It was like $400 or something. And I was like, wow.
four
And
hundred dollars for the
yeah,
move
to
from
pick up
North
a piece of
Carolina
furniture,
basically to South
uh, uh,
Carolina for two
one piece of
hours.
furniture. Yeah, for a little bit of headache. Yeah, I was like, hey, okay. So I got on the app. And when you get on the app, they got all kind of services, and I'm like, man, I don't have a truck. And at this point, I didn't know nothing about how to do a moving business. So I got on Thumbtack, and I was like, let me just try this. So I think I put moving on there just to see what would happen. And in like 3 days, I got a lead on there. My heart, like, I'm like, oh man, somebody actually hit us up. Because on Thumbtack, your account has to be, you got to build up reviews and all that
Right.
stuff for people to really, you know, for you to show up in the search results for one, but for people
Yes.
to like request you. So there's one lady I never forget. It said like only picked you because I know they send leads out to like three or four different people, but it said only picked you, and it said Fort Mill, South Carolina. So I'm just like, all right, cool. And she needed to move.
Wow. Okay,
So
hold on,
I
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. So wait a minute, wait. So I'm trying to make sure that the audience understands what's going on right now. Okay, so we have talked about your journey of being an entrepreneur. You got all of
Mhm,
these great ideas that keeps twirling around in your head. It's
mhm.
COVID. Now you're trying to figure out what to do because the real estate is not working. Then you got the clothing line is kind of on pause because I don't know, it probably would be a little difficult unless you are able to get out there in,
Mhm. And that
post
was the thing.
COVID.
Like, people can't go nowhere, so why they gonna buy clothes? So
Right.
again,
Why they gonna buy clothes? They ain't got nowhere to
everything that
go.
was kind of, and we had just like it was crazy because the real estate and the clothing brand both were like doing stuff together at the same time. Like we were starting to get there, and then they both
Right.
at the same time. COVID was, which I get it, it messed up everybody, but it was still like all of everything just one time, just like I'm like,
Whoa,
yo.
that's crazy. That is crazy.
So
So then you turned into, so you got this idea from
mhm,
a phone call from a friend that asked you to
mhm,
go do the job and you got
mhm,
paid for it. So now your mind is swirling about
mhm,
getting a business started for yourself for
yeah,
moving. And
but
so
yeah.
what
So
happened?
so yeah, so the first job came in on Thumbtack. Like I said, after like maybe it might have been like a week. It wasn't long at all because I'm telling my heart was
Okay,
like, oh crap.
wait. I'm sorry. Okay, so it came in. Okay, wait a minute. Let me back
So
up a
yeah,
little
so
bit.
his the job
So
that I
what?
did for him, he just someone reached out to him, I guess locally, because when she was at her shop, or I think it was an antique store, and so it's in
Yeah.
Five Points, but the
Okay.
furniture was at her parents' house in like Rock Hill, yeah, like Rock Hill or
Oh
something.
my
So she
gosh,
needed it
that's crazy.
picked up from there and brought back to her place because I guess they
2
were going to
hours
sell it or
away.
something. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was like 2 hours. Yeah. So of course I didn't hesitate. And so when I did that, he said whatever she paid you, just keep it. And she gave me a wad of cash. And I'm like, I knew it was some money, but I didn't know it was $400 type money. So my
Right.
brain like, oh, okay. Just like I said, I got a truck, I can make some money. So
Right.
I finally made an account on Thumbtack. We got that first lead, which ended up being in Fort Mill. Now, mind you, on Thumbtack, it's based on like pickup truck. So in my mind, I'm like, I got a truck, but I'm not thinking this lady needs to move to another apartment or somewhere like not far out the road, like maybe 15 minutes. I only have a pickup truck and she needs to move. So we get there. Yeah,
Oh.
we get there and this lady is like, you don't have a box truck? And I'm like, no, ma'am, I just got my pickup truck. And
Oh
she's like,
Lord.
okay. And she wasn't moving like a ton, but I think we took two or three, two, like it was two trips because she wasn't moving but like some furniture. It was two trips
Mhm.
to where we were going. But then she needed some stuff hauled to like a dump inside like the apartment complex. It was crazy. But for what it was, I'm like, man, we did our first move. It was horrible, but we did. So from that point, I was thumbtack, thumbtack, thumbtack. This was 2022. I think this was like July. And then that's whenever I reached out to you and I'm like, hey, I want to join the KBBU program so I can do this thing, right? So I think I signed up with you like that November or September, something like that. It was a
It
couple months later.
was, well, it had to be before the group class because you started out in the private
Hmm.
sessions and then we were like, okay, we're doing a couple of sessions here and there, but then the new class started. That's the thing, guys. We have the
Hmm.
private sessions that's just one-on-one with you and me. And then we have the actual undergraduate class that you are in a classroom full of other entrepreneurs from all over the world. So in that class started in August, Aubrey, of 2022.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you were in the
Mhm.
2022 summer fall semester course. That was
So I think
amazing. That
yeah. So
class
I think
was
what it
off the
was,
chart.
I filed the LLC like that October or November, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
yes,
that's
that's
when I made
right.
it
That's
official.
right.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that you established a business after you came to KBBU
Yeah. Hmm.
and you established that business correctly. So what about the other businesses that you had? What were they looking like
Uh,
on paper?
they were looking like they were on paper. Was put it. Yeah, I mean, when you don't, a lot of people like when you do know, it's like okay, that's not a lot. Like now, I can start a business in 2 days. I mean, a day. I mean, I can go online, file it. Where still the LLC is available. File it.
Yes.
Go get my vanity number. I mean, I can start. I mean, like this new business. I think again, an idea I set on for a whole year. And then it got to a point where I felt like God was just like, hey, 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 like like all last year, I sat on this idea for a year. I think I told you I made a logo that I thought I was going to use, and I literally just left it on my computer and forgot about it.
Oh,
And then the closer that I got to the end of last year, the dog poop thing, it just wouldn't leave me alone. And you know how I am. Hey Michelle,
yes.
this is the idea I got. I think I'm gonna do it. And whenever you say do it, I'm like, okay. So
Yes,
I
yes.
mean, about 2 days. I think I sent you a screenshot. They I mean, once that LLC get electronically cent. I'm just like, all right, well, I didn't spend $145 for nothing, so I get to it.
Okay, so let's
Yeah.
share with the audience a little bit about your flow. Okay, so you had the real estate business, you had the clothing
hmm
business, and
hmm
COVID kind of just did away with those two. So then you
hmm
came into the moving business and you gave us
hmm
your whole background story, and I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that's amazing. So I want you guys that's thinking about entrepreneurship, what opportunities has God opened up for you out there where you have dismissed the idea? Because listen to Aubrey, he's telling you his life. Like he's telling you what has happened and all of these different ideas. He didn't just throw them away. He took heed to what God was telling him. So if you have an idea out there, listen, you need to call KBBU. That's www.kbbullc.com. Y'all see it going across the screen, right? And you can email us or you can give us a call. And we'll be happy to help you with your business
hmm
idea all the way through your business plan, even all
hmm
the way to the end of media marketing, funding, management of systems, the whole nine. We do it all here at KBBU. We're a one-stop shop. But anyway, back to Aubrey. So we were talking about how you went from the two businesses into your third business, which is
hmm
easy, heavy lifting, and moving.
hmm
And
So
then
that
you
was my
did that.
first, like, yeah, that was like my first. Well, something that I just tried to like start on my own.
Yes.
Partnerships are cool. Don't get me wrong. It's some risk involved between the both, but you just have to make sure both people are on the same page. But for me, for what it
Exactly.
was, I don't. I mean, stuff went south. I still talk. I mean, they still help me in the moving business. Like, okay, stuff goes south with the business, but I ain't gonna let it ruin no friendship. I mean,
Of
it is what it
course.
is. We tried it. It didn't work. Like it ain't. I'm not a
Yeah.
grudge. I'm not a grudge person. Like I just like look. That don't get me
That's
wrong. You
good.
feel
Keep
bad
your heart
sometimes, but
clean, man.
yeah, yeah. I mean, all that extra. I mean, it's already bad enough when something don't kind of go your way. So like, why would
Yeah.
you add the stress on it? So I just did that kind of just to kind of on a whim. Again, it's an idea. I'm like, I'm gonna try this. And to fast forward, I went through your course, got everything set up, and did 100K, a little over 100K in
100K.
revenue the
Don't
first
be
year.
downplaying it. Don't be downplaying it. Don't be downplaying it, man. Yes, that's right. Y'all heard him right. He came in KBBU. He got this business idea. He had already had the experiences. So y'all heard what he said, right? And then he took the business to six figures, over $100,000. Woo! Woo! Awesome. That is
Yeah, I
so
wish all of
cool,
that was
man.
profit. That would have been nice.
I know that's right. That's the thing they
But it
don't
was
know
still,
about entrepreneurs, right?
it was proof of concept. We were, you know, I mean, it was coming in, and then again,
Yes.
y'all already
Yes.
know what I'm about to tell you. He got another little setback. So as soon as you get here, so what happened with that was so two things. Thumbtack got greedy. We caught Thumbtack at the right time, but then
Oh,
Thumbtack got greedy. So they updated their they updated their
terms and conditions.
they added this thing that was called like competition. So if you were willing to spend more for a lead than I was, you would get the lead. But in order for
What?
me to be able to compete with you for the same lead, I had to increase my budget. Well, when
Oh
you're trying
my
to
God.
compete with two and three people, the customer
Too
doesn't know
much.
that each one of you are getting charged. I mean, I've gotten charged $70 for a lead, and the person left me already and hired somebody. Oh yeah, the moving leads are expensive. So
What?
um, so mind you, so now even if people do respond, because like they have this thing where they it's a metric thing that they track, but the quicker you respond, you stay your reviews, basically your however how authentic your account is how they rank you in searches. So we would always get leads, but who do you think the client's gonna go with? The higher person or the cheaper person? So
Yes, the higher
so this
person.
was
Oh,
so
the
like I said,
cheaper
first
person.
year,
No, the cheaper person. Yeah, you're
yeah, they're
right.
going with the cheaper person. Yeah, so okay, Thumbtack can't use that no more because I'm talking about before you know it, I don't spend $500 and it's like, dude, we didn't move yet because we're even though we're basically ranked like one of the top movers on there, still right now I think we're still ranked one of the top movers and I haven't used it in like 2 years. I did try to use it the other
Wow.
day. Funny story, we got two leagues in $78 and $50. I cut it right back off.
I know
Um,
that's
so yeah,
right.
So that's
What you mean saying?
you gotta be willing to do some stuff. So we kind of called it in the glory phase. And again, these that's another thing. Everybody get greedy. So these apps start seeing where they can make more money. They don't necessarily care about you long as they get next. So
Ooh,
so that kind of went south. So I'm okay. Again, back to that bread and butter. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Because when that
right,
stops, we had no leads coming in for moving. Because
right.
I wasn't really posting on social media showing people what we were doing. Like I didn't necessarily care because we got thumbtack. We're getting 3 or 4 leads a day. So I know we're gonna lock up at least one or two of those, that first year. So yeah, so fast forward 2022, 2023, that, we honestly, we did that 100. I think that next year we probably did not a lot at all. I'm gonna be honest. So back to Pepsi. So what happened with all of that
Wait,
was
wait,
going on.
wait.
So
Let me interject just for a second. So before you tell them about that, I'm sorry to keep interrupting,
no,
but I
you're okay.
want
You're
people,
okay.
I really want people to understand. Like, so during that time, we kind of disconnected, did we not?
We did because you know me. When I get
Yeah,
a little fed up,
yeah.
I try to figure it out. You know me. I'm gonna figure it out on my own person. I try to juggle my thoughts. But
Right,
then when I always come to you, I have a hey, this is what I got, and this is what I tried. What do you think I need to do? And then you
right.
get me back on track. And I mean, that's just it's nice to have you in my back pocket because it's like I mean, not that I don't have anyone else to go to, but it's like you
Yeah,
got to have your coach. That's what you're there
right.
for. So you got to use your coach to your abilities. So I'm
Absolutely.
thankful that I did have you there because man, I could have ended up in the club probably,
And
popping,
that's what
drinking
people
some
need
pop.
to know, Aubrey. They need to understand like you got to have a mentor, you got to have a coach
Mhm,
or somebody that's there constantly helping you
mhm.
through those times in entrepreneurship because they can be really tough. Things can be
Yeah,
really
yeah.
hard. And what
Because
we
you
do
could be
over here,
here one
we
day
do.
and
Yes,
I went through it. I mean,
definitely.
so like with that, of course, like I said, thumbtack, they got greedy. Okay, we can't do that. Um, Back to Pepsi. So at this point, we ain't worried about Pepsi. We like, man, we finna quit Pepsi because we just did 100. We gonna do 250 next year. Yeah, we did 250.
Right.
And
$250.
you know me. I'm gonna keep it. I don't gatekeep. I don't sugarcoat. I mean, we went from doing like 106. I think that next year we barely did. Did we even do 40? I don't even think we did 40. I can't remember, but it was pretty rough. So at Pepsi. So what happened was we went through another phase where they had some stuff going on. Drivers was quitting. So you writing orders and the trucks don't come, you don't get paid. Just because you key it in, if they don't hit that back door. So now we're not making no money at Pepsi for a little stretch of time. So that's kind
Yes.
of like the period where I ghosted you because I'm like, I'm stressing out. I got this. We just did this. Now we over here and it's like, dude, like we
What
can't
in
get
the
nothing going because
world?
when you're again, like you said, that 9 to 5, when you trying to use it to fund your business and you ain't getting it on the 9 to 5 side, it's like, how can you do what you need to do for your business? So
There you go.
again, talk to Michelle, got me back on track. I talked to my buddy and we were like, look, man, we got to make this happen. It is what it is.
Yes.
So going into the end of last year, we again, mind you, the whole time I still got this dog poop idea in my mind that I just blocked out because the moving business didn't work out. So I ain't trying to think about no ideas at this point. So, we went through a little point there where it was just Pepsi, Pepsi, and of course, really not benefiting from it because we was going through that little phase. And
Yes.
yeah, so fast forward from that little time frame, get your mind clear, get back on track. We started, doing some stuff. I would say since November, I mean, we're not like doing it crazy, but I would say from
Right.
November, from that mindset shift we had from November to now, I mean, we've done pretty decent. But like this year, um, you know, it's been a little slow like these last couple of weeks. But for the most part, I mean, we've had something to do at least 2 to 3 days every week. So again, just sometimes having that mindset shift can, you know, start putting that type of energy out there to reciprocate for you, and you get that back. So and then the dog poop business. Here we are. I'm like, look, man, I still need is that entrepreneur brain. And I just when I see
Yes,
opportunity somewhere, I'm
there
gonna take
you
advantage of any
go.
opportunity I can. So yeah, if y'all want to know, I don't know how I had the idea to do it. It was just one of those things on the list, and that stuff don't work. I literally go to the next one, and I might add three more. So my list never really gets checked off because I'm always adding stuff.
I
But
love it.
I did some research on it, and I'm like, okay, it's a market for it. So here we are. So yeah, we still actively doing the movement. Again, not that it's slow. We're just not. It's not really peak season for us right now.
Right.
But in between, you got to have that. Like you said, you got to have that income coming in somewhere. So, but as an
That's
entrepreneur,
right.
you gotta keep thinking of opportunities you can take advantage of. Actually, so
There you
yeah, and
go.
it's
That's
a
what I'm
lot of them
talking
out there.
about. Yeah.
I got
So you
another. I
see,
got another business idea for you too. We'll talk about. I'll
oh
tell you.
my God. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I
Okay.
got. I got. Well, you know about one. But I got. It's, this would be like the final boss
All
when
right.
I
All right.
get my. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So maybe we'll hop
So,
back on here another day and kind of talk about how I process these. Because I'm gonna put it to you like this: it's not necessarily a business, but I do want to help people. Like, because some people don't know how to process their ideas, and there's just so I can give you a little quick story. It's a lady that works in one of my stores. I came in one day and she was about to get married, and I saw her nails, and I'm like, hey, your fingernails look good. And she's like, yeah, I did them myself. I said, you did them yourself? Like, I mean, it looked like she went to these places and got them done. And she's like, no, I do my own nails. So I'm like, me, my brain instantly think money. So I'm like, you don't do it for other people? And she was like, nah, I don't really like doing it for other people, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you sitting on a gold mine. And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, I get it. So a couple of months, about a month or so go by, and I'm like, every time I see her now, I'm thinking, like, for her, I'm thinking of ideas. And I'm like, hey, you sure you don't want to do da 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 da? She was like, nah. So I took the main idea that she didn't want to do. I said, well, how about you just make the nail kits? Like women go buy the nail kits. I said, how about you just make
yeah.
custom nail kits? You don't have to install them. I said, you just sell just the nail kits. And she said,
Oh,
I
that's
never
a
thought
really
about that.
good idea.
And I said, so you get your TikTok account, you make your TikTok. I said, you already got a likable personality because she's like uh, Dominican or something. So they got that little sassy attitude that everybody likes, but it's like not in a bad way. I said, so you make your TikTok account. I say, you show the women how to install your nails. You put a link to your Etsy store, and I say you're getting paid from TikTok, and now you selling your nail kits. I said, there you go. And she was like, I never thought about it. So it's like even when you have an idea, it's like 10 ideas inside. Like, okay, you might not like that part of the idea, but it's still other parts of that same idea that you can branch out. So that's
Yes,
kind of like
absolutely.
it's not necessarily a business, but it's kind of like more of a like a coaching type thing. Of course, try to monetize it, but that's my other
Yeah,
ideas to help other people like me how to
and
gather
that's
their
the goal.
ideas and come up with like something that they actually can do for themselves. You know,
Right. Okay.
because
So
I know
that
a lot
sounds
of
like
people don't. A lot of people don't like going to work, and I'm like, I know you got some skills. Like everybody got some kind of a skill. I don't care who you are,
everybody.
everybody got a skill. You just got to
Everybody.
find one that you like, and I mean, it's not even hard to monetize it these days. I mean, just got to get out there and just do it. So yeah,
I love it.
but
I love it. So as we're
but yeah,
wrapping up, Aubrey, so basically what you're saying is that you need to keep that creativity going, guys. If
oh
you
yeah,
are
oh
trying
yeah.
to do business, even if it's a business that you've been in consistently and it's the same company over and over again, you still got to come up with new ideas. Look at us. We were Kingdom Builders Credit Repair. We've expanded into budgeting. We've expanded into trademarks. We've expanded into even six-figure earner budget sheets. I mean, that's expansion, that's creativity within the business. And if you have a different idea, don't just push that to the side. You never know of when and what it is that's going to really stir up that gift that's already on the inside of you with your gift, skills, and talents, where you might be able to, take that business to a whole nother tier and leave the job or whatever it is that you're trying to do, whatever your goals are. It doesn't matter where the income comes from as long as it's legal, okay? Long as you working, long as you got something going on, but you really want to hear what Aubrey is saying in his journey, in his story. Like, this is amazing. So he went from the easy heavy lifting and moving, and he went into, now we have
Scoop troops.
Scoop Troop.
I'm having a little technical difficulties. 1 second, 1 second.
Scoop Troops, that's what I'm talking about. Let's go. Y'all see it on his hat. He got a whole shirt uniform with it on, and he is getting ready to probably pull up a video for us. Is that what you trying to do, babe?
I was having some little. No, I had some little audio issues. My bad, my bad.
Okay, you good. You good. All right. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
tell us a little bit about Scoop Troops.
I mean, I keep telling y'all some of these ideas are simple. Like I tell, and I don't like to say this because it's like everybody's not lazy, but I'm like, if people are lazy, you can make a lot of money. And I mean, so again, my brain thinks, okay, what wouldn't I necessarily like to do? But okay, I'm like, not that I wouldn't go out here, but I cut my own grass, and I'm like, hey man, I really need to get this poop out of the yard, because I don't want to be stepping in it. So, but in my mind, so that's kind of how.
Right.
Again, I'm like, well, some other people might not want poop in their backyard. They got dogs, but they don't like to
That's
pick up behind.
right.
So,
Yes.
again, my brain thinking, how can I make some money getting poop out somebody's backyard? And well, I
Voila.
did a little research. Yeah, yeah. I mean, literally. So I did some research on what companies are charging for it, and then I also looked to see. Of course, you're going to always have franchises that not that you can't compete with a franchise, but I'm like, is there a locally owned business in this area? And I'm like, I don't see nothing. So that's kind of how I got there. I was like, yeah, I probably need to do that. Again, I sat on the idea for like a year, but I did finally go ahead and pull the trigger. And I actually have one recurring customer right now. But I've only posted about it maybe once before or something. I think so. I posted in my neighborhood group originally. And then I think I posted it on my Facebook page. And some people laugh at it. They're like, right, ain't nobody going, people pay for that. And I'm
Yes,
like,
they will. Yes,
and for
they
me,
will.
you know how I am. All I need to see is one person do something, and I know 1,500 other people will do the same thing.
There you
So,
go. There you go.
so
Good job.
that's how I think about a lot of stuff. And then when that lady, so I did one guy's yard in my neighborhood. I went over there once. And then another guy that owns so he rents out his house in this neighborhood still, but he's in another neighborhood about 10 minutes up the street. He saw it.
Mm-hmm.
He called me up, and then someone else that used to live in the neighborhood that moved to another neighborhood saw it, and then she was like, "Hey, I like to do like a recurring service. So I have her.
Yes.
I go every 2 weeks to scoop her yard, and I mean it's it's just go.
Hey.
I think I bought. So and this is another thing. People think you need a lot of money. Like some stuff you do, depending on what it is. But I try to find stuff that has a low entry of upfront cost besides like an LLC. That's probably the most
Right.
I spent, and that was $145. Okay,
There you
cool.
go.
I
There
got
you
a
go.
dustpan. I got a kids garden rake. I got like the little chemical container, the little pump
Yes.
um that I put some what you call it disinfectant in,
Yes.
and then I got trash bags. All that
Oh,
I
me
think all of that was
too.
less than $60 is what I needed. And then
Love it.
the very first job that I did, I mean they I made that back in the first three jobs basically. So I'm
Come
like,
on.
yeah. So I
Come
mean,
on
so I just try to find low entry stuff that you can just start because the average person doesn't have, you know, thousands of dollars just lying around and just go start up a trucking business.
now. Right, right,
But
right. Good
sometimes it's just
job.
like
Good
with me,
job.
it's kind of like just you take one idea, you get that business going, you grow that business, then you take money from that business, and then you can start,
On the other
your
business.
next business. So sometimes you just got to do a little something to get started and get that one set up correctly so that you can, make sure you're doing it right out the gate. So definitely solid with Michelle so you don't do like I but hey, as long as you're trying, I'm always applaud somebody for trying. But if I can talk with somebody and save them, the headache that I went through at first, it's like, hey man, just go get your coach. or
I
spend that
love
hundred,
it.
$200 a month, whatever, and be done with it, and get someone to guide you from the start. Then your next
That's right.
business, you just set it up. I mean, setting up businesses now is just like, dang, it's too easy. Actually, that's the bad part of having a lot of ideas, that I know I can set up a business in 2 days.
And that's because you came through
K to KBBU.
KBBU.
Yep, yep,
I
yep.
love it. So there you have it, guys. This is
Mhm.
where Aubrey is now. I know his business is going to flourish and grow. I know people going to come from the north, south, east, and west. So listen, if you have a fur baby, if you know somebody who has a fur baby and you're in the Columbia, South Carolina area, and who knows, he might be expanding. Aubrey, where can they find you first for
Mhm.
your new business? And then let them know what areas you're covering so that they can get the word out.
Yeah, so I mean, I can tell that Facebook. I literally post. If you follow me on Facebook, I post my whole life. I don't necessarily hide nothing. If you got questions, I don't gatekeep nothing. I mean, it is what it is. We all can eat. But you can find me on
Right?
Facebook, Aubrey Wise. I mean, that's literally my main social media. I don't really do TikTok, and I mean, I have an Instagram. I might actually end up doing
We're gonna
Instagram for
change that. We're gonna
yeah,
talk.
yeah,
We're gonna change
yeah. But I got it, but I don't. I need to use it. So, but yeah, we'll
it.
get that done. But yeah, really just Facebook, Aubrey Wise. I literally post everything on there. Scoot Troops. There's a Facebook page for it. There's a link on there to the quote form. So I mean, it'll spit
Okay.
you out a quote in 2 seconds. I mean, you punch in
Love
your little
it.
information. I mean, and then if you want to sign up, I mean, you put a little card on file that sends you a little link to set up your own little client portal. It's a smooth process, but I mean, obviously I'm here in Lexington, but I mean, at this point, I'll go, anywhere, Lexington, Richland, Newberry area, pretty much in the Midlands. That's gonna be my focal point, and
The Midlands, South
yeah, yeah,
Carolina
yeah.
Midlands. Hello,
So
Richland. We got a little
yeah,
Richland in here. We got a little Irmo. We got a little what? Like to say, Five
yeah,
Points
yeah,
area.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
wherever
yeah,
you
yeah.
are.
hmm
Yes, and for those
And
of
then, and
us
there
who
will be a referral program too. So like even if you don't need the
oh,
services, I'll do like a referral program as well. So still setting that up, but hey, y'all like Texas Roadhouse, you can get a couple of gift cards and get all the rolls you want.
I love it. I love
Yeah,
that. That is so cool. So, listen, guys, if you're interested in his services, he has a new business. He still has as easy heavy lifting and moving,
yeah,
right?
still definitely not. We're not. Yeah, definitely. Again,
So
it's just the entrepreneur mind. I might have another business soon too. Who knows?
that's right, but this is where he is now, guys. And we ask that you guys support him. If you have a fur baby, if you know somebody who has a fur baby, or maybe you live in an apartment complex, like I know my daughter is here in
Mhm.
Columbia. She had an issue with a neighbor that kept on having their dog poop in her walkway. And so that might be an area that you might need to have cleaned up. So if you live in an apartment complex or a townhome, or whatever, and there's an issue with dog poop, listen, he's your guy. Give him a call. How can they reach you, Aubrey? What's your number?
Don't get me lying. I set it up, but I put you right now because I mean this is like a fairly new business. This is really what
He's just
about
starting,
yeah.
guys.
I mean
Give him
I
a
just started this like less
grace.
than a
Give
month
him
ago.
some
I mean
grace.
I do have a business number, but again all the information is on the Facebook page, Scoop Troops.
Okay.
I
Scoop
mean
troop.
it's just everything's on there. But I don't have that number memorized just yet.
Okay,
But
no
if
problem.
you need some moving services, you can same thing. Find me on Facebook. We do have a website. It is ezhlm.com, or you can type in easy heavy lifting and moving on Google. It'll pop up. You can find us on Facebook. You can reach us directly, or if you want to call, it's 833-395-4387. So,
I
but
love
again,
it.
a lot of people reach out to me just via social media. I mean, you can reach me several ways.
All right. So what I'm gonna do, Aubrey, is I'm gonna put the link in down below in the comment sections for your easy heavy lifting and moving. I'm also gonna connect your information on Facebook, and the website will be coming soon. Hello, am I
Mhm,
right?
mhm. Yep, yep.
Website will
Working
be
on
coming
that this
soon
evening.
for. Okay, Scoop Truth will be having a website, so don't think that he's not gonna do the website because he know how we do at KBBU. We don't come half stepping, but he will have that phone number and that website up for you guys. If you are interested, please support him. Aubrey Wise, what is your handle on Facebook?
I think it's that moving guy, DAT.
That
Yeah, I think it's like
moving
that.
guy.
Yeah, that moving
Okay,
guy. But that's why I tell everybody just Aubrey Wise.
just
I'm pretty sure
Aubrey
it's like that.
Wise. Just follow
Yeah,
him at
yeah.
Aubrey Wise. That's it. That's what I'm talking about. Well,
Try to
I
keep it
hope.
simple. Ain't hard to find.
Yes, yes. I hope all blessings and overflow to your business. Thank you so much for joining us. Any last words that you would like to share to the audience?
Like I said before, don't sleep on your ideas. Like at least write them down, because you might sit on. You like I'll come back to it. And I know I've done it. I've had several ideas, and I'm still mad because I know there's some stuff out there that I forgot, and I'm like, I'll write it down. But like now, if I just think about something, I whip my phone out. I literally go to the notepad and I just type in like like just something, because you never know. You might be sitting around one day and then someone will just, hey, remember that thing in your phone you put down? You might need to do that, but if it's not there, now you don't have it. So at least if you have an idea, just jot them down, whether you do something with them or not. And also again, I recommend Michelle. Of course, I'm not just saying it because you're a friend. You'll learn more than you think you'll learn. And even if you sign back up, you'll learn some more stuff that you thought you learned the first time that you didn't necessarily learn the first time. So I mean, it's just like a never ending, overflow of education. So again, even me, I talked to Michelle, not much as we used to, but we're back. I was going through a little time
Yep,
period,
you
but
get back in
we're
that
back
flow.
communicating. So but yeah, definitely sign up to the course. Um, and if you don't come back, you still learn everything you need to learn in the first course. But yeah, write
That's
those
right.
ideas down. Get you a coach, and as soon as your coach implement, don't wait. If she tell you to do something, she'll tell you. Speed of implementation is what's going to take you further quicker instead of you just sitting back. So and even again, if you don't feel like you want to sign up for a course, I'm not going to say you can still jump out there. It just might be a little bit harder to kind of figure it out. But I've just learned over time, just if you started off the right way, some you don't have to you escape all of that fluff, and now you don't have
That's
to go
right.
do this and then do this. You can just make it a seamless process, and it'll be a lot less stressful for you. Trust me. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it'll be a flow. Thank you so much,
Mhm.
Aubrey. We have really
You're welcome.
enjoyed your journey of where you are now. This is so amazing. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and just share with the audience. Basically, if you are watching us for the first time, like I said before, we are Kingdom Builders Business University. We are a university school that basically educates any entrepreneur. We do look for the underdog now. We do look for the underdog. The ones that everybody else has kind of dismissed and put to the side and decided that, hey, we don't want to help you, or they lied to you about what they were really going to do to help you to get there. That's what we cover. We invite every underdog, and even the ones that ain't the underdogs. We invite everybody that is thinking about business in any form, any idea. Make sure you go to our website, www.kbbullc.com. Go ahead and click on that Let's Talk button, and let's talk about your ideas for business. Thank you guys for watching so much. We really enjoyed you. And thank you so much, Aubrey, for being here and your wealth of information, these principles. Did y'all get all them keys down that he was talking about? Y'all saw how his life went from one thing to another, but those are key implementations of things that we need to do for business. So listen, thank you so much again for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Make sure you set your notifications for KB.Michelle Green so that you will not miss another episode of Where Are They Now? All right, talk to you guys later.